as we get ready for the episode, whatever the hell it is. I'm not even keeping track of episodes anymore, MC. I don't even know what episode number we're on.
You had like 105 and then it jumped to 108. It's like Goldberg's streak in WCW way back in the day.
I'm just randomly putting numbers. I'm like 126.
Yes.
So
the
this
100s, I think, is safe, probably.
So this one will be coming off of our latest episodes, which were the no, what did we just talk about? We just had
talked about our movies,
our
and then
movies,
post fasting, post colonoscopy epilogue.
So this one's going to come back after movies, and so the movies is going to be what we just recently watched. I just recently watched the end of Mandalorian season 2. I'm thinking season 2, right? Three. Fuck, it's blur.
Season 2 is Luke. Spoiling it for anybody who didn't see the end of season 2.
Luke shows up. That's right. Luke shows up.
Luke's return. If you're watching this about season 3 and you haven't seen 2, that's your own fault. So
that's the one where they try to talk. He tries to talk Grogu into doing the lightsaber shit, and he's like, "No, I'm gonna choose the mesh." Little. Remember, he says you can choose one.
No, that was Boba Fett. Remember?
No, I thought it was the one where he chooses. He tells them you can choose between a lightsaber or you can choose between the mesh.
Yeah, you're right, but that happened in Boba Fett after season 2. So that season 2 ended with Luke taking Grogu away, and then he revealed his helmet, took off his helmet or whatever. And then Boba Fett episodes is where Luke was in, and they showed Ahsoka and all that. And then you had him choose, basically. And then,
how do you keep track of all these things that go on in this shit, man? I tell you right now. So
not that old in my head, yeah.
Okay. So I watched The Mandalorian, the end. And I don't know how you want to get to, but I'm going to get to the very end at some point because it made me mad. I was really angry that I see there goes hyperspeed.
Yeah, hyperspeed, yes. You're going to a very angry place now.
I'm so mad. So when I watched it, I'm already kind of bored with the show. And
let me ask you why, though. Tell me why this season bored you so much.
It seemed like every episode had the same, how would you put it? It has the same like idea. Like they fight off something or they do something. There's a lot of flash forwards and flashbacks. I'm tired of hearing this is the way. I really want to know what the lady looks like underneath the main lady.
That's the creed. They're going to say that probably every episode. This is the way.
And then I wanted to see what I really wanted the lady take off her helmet. The main lady that always says, "This is her way." You know, she's always that way.
Yeah, they got to leave something for a mystery.
I want to know what she looks like.
I thought she was going to actually turn on him, but apparently she ended up not. She was the priestess, ended up baptizing.
Yeah,
Jimmy Kimmel's nephew and Grogu at the end.
Yeah, they dump water on his helmet. Come on. Why don't he swim like the other guys? So
he's got a pretty important name. That's the Vizsla name. He was the original Jedi Mandalorian who created the Darksaber.
So then I ask you this.
Sure.
Is this something that you would have to be deeply engulfed into the world of Star Wars to know what the hell's going on?
I think it helps because they give you a lot of Easter eggs. So say if you didn't see, and I haven't seen every episode of Rebels or Clone Wars, or which is a lot of this stuff is taken from that lore too, because Bo-Katan was in there and Ahsoka was in there, and a lot of these characters were not, some of the ones created for Mando. But you're going to see as these things roll along, they're leading into a Dave Filoni, who's the pupil basically of George Lucas, even before he sold it to Disney. He's basically organized, besides writing and whatever, producing the Ahsoka series, which is coming up in August. He's actually making a movie that's going to tie the entire Mandoverse together against one large big bad. I don't know if that's the Grand Admiral Thrawn, who is from the novels.
So is there going to be another Mandalorian coming up?
They claim, one of the videos I just watched claims that Favreau, who died as Paz Vizsla in the show, but he's still the producer. They claimed he's got scripts. There are scripts for 4, but I mean, if they don't specifically about Pedro Pascal's Mandalorian, I mean, they did wrap it up with a nice bow. But I still think you're going to see him at worst. Say Pascal gets super busy, you'll probably see him in that movie where everything ties together if he doesn't appear in the Ahsoka series, which I think he will. I mean, he'd have to really just, I don't know. I don't want to say he's a douche. What if he gets really busy? I'm not a huge fan of the guy personally, but
what if
whatever.
He's busy? What if he has soccer games for his children? So
it's all in how much money they pay Coach JC. You know that.
nah, like I said, I watched it and I was actually kind of disappointed in how it ended. So I was just thinking, I thought it was going to have some kind of conclusion.
What were you looking for though? They had the aerial fights, they had the jetpacks, they're fighting that was pretty badass. They had the big fight against Moff Gideon, who had his own Mandalorian battle suit.
He sucks.
Whatever
I don't like
droid
him. He's not a good character. He's not a good character. I didn't like him.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! He's dead now. So
I know, but I can't stop seeing him.
He was a clown.
Better Call Saul when he's running the chicken and place. And you never seen that, have you?
Never seen it.
Oh, I'm gonna pull up the picture. He's in Better Call Saul, and he's like a chicken.
Well, apparently, wasn't his face blown off in something? Somebody showed a picture of that. They said he could still be alive in that armor, or he could have been a clone, and his real version will come back since he didn't have a mustache, apparently. Which could have been a clue because all of his clones didn't have mustache. So that could have been a very devious clue.
Did his clones have mustaches?
His clones didn't have mustaches, and when he was yelling at them, the only thing that would have kind of been a little screwy is that he didn't have, unless they claim he kind of had the Force, but he wasn't using Force armor. He was overpowering him because he had basically the Beskar and the battle, whatever, the Death Trooper armor, or whatever he was calling them. So that's why he wasn't really using Force against them. I mean, that would have been way too obvious that if he had the Force, he never had the Force. So, but he didn't have the mustache, so one would lead you to believe that was possibly a clone, which would be a way to bring him back.
I'm not the only one that feels that the season 3 didn't give you any answers. In the Verge article, theverge.com, it says Mandalorian season 3 finale didn't need to answer every question, but I think it did. I think if you're watching this as someone who's outside of the Star Wars universe, you like to get some kind of closure on these shows.
What did you want it to end? Did you want him to die? So you could just stop watching it with your wife and
you
just
led
say,
me to believe that Grogu was dying. So I was kind of waiting for that moment.
When did I say that?
It was you didn't have to say it. I saw it in your eyes last time we talked.
I could have been throwing you off.
And then
if anything, I would have thought Pascal would have died, not Grogu.
And then the thing is, everybody in there, like, they had so many different character cameos in this show. I thought maybe this was just going to be one of those Disney spin-offs of next up is Raven. She's going to show up in there and she's going to be a character, and all these people are going to be in there, because it just seems like there was so many like Jack Blacks in it. When did Jack Black become a Star Wars person?
Doesn't even look like Jack Black though, so I guess you could give that one a pass.
Like Jack Black.
Well, I know, but maybe the Jack Black that I remember doesn't look like that. So maybe you know him more in later years from his videos or whatever. I see he had his big beard and shit the last time I seen him, but yeah, it doesn't really look like classic Jack Black. Let's put it that, like, whatever what the hell would even be classic Jack Black? I don't say Jumanji. Was he in? Wasn't he in Jumanji?
Yeah, it was in Jumanji. He kind of looked like that in Jumanji.
Did he?
Fat with a little. He just got really fat with a beard. I don't know why he's growing his beard out so much.
So he could be in Star Wars as a bearded former general or whatever the hell he was from the Empire.
Star Wars with a singer.
Yeah, I had no clue who. I've heard the name Lizzo. I had no freaking clue who that was. But apparently people thought that was ridiculous too, as well as Christopher Lloyd, Back to the Future. He was a separatist apparently in that one episode too, the same episode we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, compared to that episode, the finale was great. I mean, was this the greatest season of the 3? Probably not. I mean, although I never finished every episode of 1, I think I've seen all two. Yeah, I mean it was what it
Why
was.
didn't
I
you
mean,
finish every episode of one?
I got into it late. I didn't even have Disney Plus then, so I think when I did have access, I was jumping in to the season 2 one because that seemed more interesting to me as you enter hyperspace again.
So let me show you my
People think one is very good, obviously too, and I've seen the first episode, maybe two or three different ones, maybe.
this is what he was looked like in Better Call Saul. He was the owner and he was like a drug lord or something.
So every time you see him,
Every
you see
time I
the
saw
you
this,
see the drug lord.
I saw the dude from Better Call Saul. That's what I saw.
Yeah,
Saw that and saw it.
Saul it.
Oh, I saw it. Saul. So every time I looked at it, I didn't really like him as the character, and I didn't really want him to be the bad guy.
But you
So
know that he's been in there since the start. So how could that not annoy you from the whole start of the series?
it did,
Since he's pretty much been in all three seasons
but
now.
every time it annoyed me, I saw Grogu, and I was like, oh, so I gotta like into it. Especially, okay, I'm just gonna jump into it. Especially the final scene where he fights the little red ninjas. Those guys, like killed that big dude, no problem, hands down. And then when they're fighting Mando, right? Is that his name, Mando? They're
Yeah, I
fighting
guess.
the guy, and they're hitting him,
Din Djarin.
and they're hitting him, and he comes out with a little robot and does that. No, no, no. And then you're like, oh, that's so cute. And then they go after him, and then you're like, oh shit, they're gonna kill him.
So you at that point you thought he was going to die.
Well, I thought he was gonna disappear into his little cloak or something. They wouldn't kill him. They would
Okay.
just do the bend, just disappear.
Oh,
So
you thought he would have. You thought he would enter the Force and then be a Force ghosted
well, and there we
Din
go.
Djarin. Then
So all of a sudden he's like in there, and
hasn't even spoke. What the hell is he going to do? And as a Force ghost, just wave at him.
so that well, he's fighting them. So he's fighting. Here comes the Death Star. See in the back.
Oh shit!
Mm.
Tractor beam pulling you in, motherfucker.
So, anyways, he's fighting them, and then I'm sitting there thinking, okay, so I don't think he's gonna beat him. So they're gonna come in behind. He's gonna come in and save him. But anyways, he starts getting the robot pieces all beaten up, and everything starts falling apart. And then all of a sudden, he jumps out of his robot and starts running around on the top rafters while they're trying to hit him. Now they killed the big dude. Hold on, my dog wants to leave the room.
I thought it was going to be the first dog in the cockpit of Star Wars that isn't named Chewbacca.
If my dog had thumbs, she would be able to get out of here. So anyways, he's fighting them, and then he's like, all of a sudden, he's out of his robot suit, and he's running along the rafters, and he's laughing. Did you notice that?
Yeah,
he's laughing.
Yeah, I did hear that he was giggling during that. I didn't notice that
What?
at first. But during the recap,
so he's laughing.
One of them said that.
So now I'm like, well, what's he laughing at? You know, people are getting killed from these dudes, and he's laughing
because they're bums to him. He's a powerful toddler Jedi compared to them.
There you go. Why all of a sudden does he now have powers?
Because he trained for 2 years with Luke.
Bullshit, man.
They didn't. Now, in your defense, you couldn't have known it was 2 years, but there was a passage of time. Someone said it was 2 years. But yeah,
he could have done something prior to
he did do something. He was prior to this, like what, this whole season?
He could have helped people. He could have done some stuff. He's a bum, a piece of crap now.
It just it drains him. You could see what happened when he stopped the fire. He ended up draining him. Had he used all of his force against those guards, he wouldn't have been able to save all three of them in the end.
Guys, some people might have lived, little bastard. They're out there to protect him, and all of a sudden he's like, and
so you're saying that the big guy that was scripted by the guy who plays him, since that was his own show, you were saying that the robot Grogu should have saved him from the three guards originally.
Should have done a quick like.
Maybe he didn't like him because his son was shooting him with a paintball.
That might be coming out in season 4. They'll be like, "Why didn't you save my dad?" And they'll be like, "Well,
ask Jimmy Kimmel's sister what her nephews."
He'll just go. That's what he'll do. So, anyways,
the next time you see Jill Kimmel, ask her nephew what he thinks of Grogu letting his dad die.
He'll say, "I don't know. All I stare at is like a green little doll with balls on it because it
can't do anything. I'm wearing a helmet now for the rest of my Star Wars career. They'll never see my Kimmel face. Yeah, I know. They'll never see it. Never see his little Kimmel face again.
So I watched that and I thought, little bastard could have saved people with his little powers, but instead, and then he can all of a sudden stop fire from getting them. How'd that happen? Hmm?
Pretty
Hmm?
badass.
Hmm?
Luke taught him some shit.
So when I saw that, I was like, this.
So you're thinking that they should have just went in there. Grogu uses all of his energy and powers and just annihilates everybody at that point, uses up all of his strength, and don't even know if he still gets shot by a
Why not?
stormtrooper or Gideon.
Why not? Why not? Why can't he do that? Huh?
I don't know. Why don't you ask him when you see him?
Who am I supposed
When
to
next
ask? Is there like
next
a
time you go to the Star Wars Adventure, see if Grogu's
is
hanging
there a
around there and
contact?
ask him.
Is there a contact us? Is there a contact
Yes.
button on these shows where you can call and say I have questions?
What is it that the complaint box, and then they show you the middle digit?
Is there is there something I can call and check on and say why did this happen? Well, okay, so go over since you're the Star Wars expert, go over why you think this was the best. Do you think this was the best season or the best episode?
I wouldn't say the best season. I think the best episode / season had to be last. Plus, I mean, there's no Cara Dune. So for me, taking away Gina Carano. So I think 2 is the best season. And that's kind of BS. That's a whole different episode if we were to do that. I think the last 2 episodes were really good. I think the action and intrigue with him in there. I mean, there were the whatever shrug your shoulders Pershing episode and the Lizzo episode, whatever. I mean, but overall, I think it was good. It was entertaining. We still watched everything. I think it helped.
Why wouldn't you watch it?
That's what I mean. If you were into season 3, if you're into season 2, I mean, and the Boba Fett episodes or whatever, and this is the continuation of the story. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's clearly still the best Star Wars. I mean, I just had a coworker said this is still the best thing Disney has done with Star Wars. So he enjoyed it when it finished, and he was asking some questions, and I
was
telling him
that's coming out. There's a new one.
So Ahsoka comes out in August, and that follows the former Padawan of Anakin. That if you just watch the movies, which I'm assuming you have, you would never know that she was his Padawan during the cartoon series. But they're going to kind of tie it in. Hayden Christensen's supposed to do maybe some flashbacks, and like Kenobi, he's going to probably somewhat appear in there.
Down to me saying I only watched the movie.
You didn't even know. I don't think you even know who Ahsoka was.
I have no idea what this shit is.
But before she appeared on the Mandalorian series,
I have no idea any of this.
Yeah, I know. So that's because you didn't watch the Clone Wars or Rebels.
I watch sports. I don't just sit around and watch Disney Star Wars adventures.
I'm not the one who spent hundreds of dollars on a lightsaber. Let's put it that way.
Do you need me to pull the lightsaber back out?
Pull it out. It's the Mandalorian episode. You probably should have it.
Should I have it out for this?
Can you even get up during light speed travel there? Can you even get up?
I think I can move. Hold on.
Is the G-force killing you right now?
Oh. Think how many times I've gone through life speed. Yeah, look at this. And it goes for a really long time too. And then all of a sudden I'm by the Death Star.
I know you're traveling for quite a while. You must, then you just appear by the Death
Star.
You're
just jealous that you don't have this shit on your.
It's a pretty cool background. I mean, compared to mine, cartoonish shirt that I have posted back there.
It looks like you just draped it over your background. Could just be hanging on the wall for all I know.
It's actually a picture. It's not even a drape.
Just to finish this, since we only have a certain amount of time to record this, and we got to go into the next one you want to talk about. Just to finish this, adopting him. Yes.
Yeah. Did you find that
I thought
sweet,
that was
or did you actually?
No, it was cute. All of a sudden, you're like,
Coach JC does have a heart.
Did a little heart. I love you. You're the best, Mando. So,
my one buddy, he was very happy he got out of that robot. He hated him in that robot. He thought it was
stupid.
Ridiculous.
Once we get done talking to it, people started comparing it to the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, Krang. He definitely was Krang. I thought it'd been cool to have him inside the full. Actually, turn the robot into armor of his. That way, he's being talked to like Tony Stark, and that was the rumor before. Like, was it Taika Waititi is how you say his name? Apparently, he does the voice of IG-12 or 11, whatever the hell he's known as because he became the sheriff now of the town again once he was fixed.
It's got to be a celebrity, just like they had to use I am Groot, and they had to get an actual celebrity. So anybody could have said I am Groot. I don't know why they had to pay someone more.
Vin Diesel is the voice.
Could have just got a sound guy to say it. I am Groot. Good job. Here's 20
bucks. It's better when it's Vin Diesel, apparently.
It makes everybody want to be it. All right. So let's go into your second movie. You saw this movie. I've never seen it. Didn't want to see it.
Wait. Is this all in one episode? I thought we were doing it in its own episode.
You think there's got to be its own episode for the one you're going to talk about next?
I'm probably, maybe not. I don't know. I would have had my Cocaine Bear background instead.
All right.
I don't think I could change this.
We'll do it in 2 episodes. I don't care. We're at 20 some minutes of this episode. Anyway.
Yeah, this will be a nice segue. I mean, I guess we could plug Ahsoka coming out in August. If you have not known anything about it, there's actually some cool channels, Screen Crush, and I think it was Heavy Spoilers, Emergency Awesome. Those are some good ones. They recap the we could put those, I guess, in the description if I ever send you a description. They actually recap her history for Star Wars rookies like Coach JC. They will actually tell you her entire history. You can watch it, learn it, know it, and then you go into the August.
So tell me why. Tell me why people should watch Mandalorian season 1, 2, and 3 if they've never seen it. What is it going to give them that they don't already get from Star Wars movies? This is your time to convince people to watch Mandalorian's season 1, 2, and 3 and go.
Why wouldn't you be advocating for one? You've seen more episodes than I have. Well, I mean, once I got into it, it's been pretty entertaining. I think the fact that it's written by the
why wouldn't you get into it if you're a Star Wars fan? Wouldn't you want to see every Star Wars show?
I just haven't gone back and watched it. It's been too far into it before I could go back and watch the beginning episodes. But yeah, you could easily binge it if you have Disney Plus or access to it. It's just especially the Book of Boba Fett, although some people weren't too happy. It was what it was. I mean, there are Mandalorian episodes on there that were almost
I liked Boba Fett.
I didn't mind it. It was fine. I mean, it would be what, like Mandalorian 2.1 or 2, whatever you want to call it, because he had a couple of his own episodes in there. And
does it bother you when the Mandalorian's walking that he doesn't walk like a warrior, kind of walks funny? You ever notice how he walks?
He walks like
I watch him.
He walks like Pedro Pascal, maybe.
Yeah, it's kind of it's not real like tough guy walk. I'll tell you that right now.
Are you saying that Pedro Pascal is not a tough guy at all?
He doesn't look like one. When he walks, he kind of walks. It's kind of got a little. I don't know. It looks funny.
It's probably one of the most what did somebody call it in one of the videos? He's like Space Batman, and Grogu's like Space Robin. So pretty much like
that's a good way of putting it. That is a good way of putting it.
I mean, essentially, if you think about it, he's on his own now. He's a vigilante doing stuff for the Republic, New Republic now.
You would just think like when you see Clint Eastwood walk or The Rock, they got kind of like this presence, tough. They walk with like a little masculine walk.
They should just have a hole drilled into his helmet, and then he can just have a cigarette in
there. Why not? I mean, even when I found out who he was, I was like, that's not who I thought was underneath the helmet. That just didn't.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really. I mean, obviously, he looks like the actor.
Like he should be in Zorro or something. Like, it looks like he's not a Mandalorian. I thought it would be the kind of like a who's the dude that used to. The freak's his name? Oh, it's gonna take me a minute to think of this guy.
The Tybo guy.
No,
it's him underneath there.
Tybo. He's like,
that would certainly make a lot of sense that he's able to whip some ass, wouldn't it?
Yeah, like Chuck Norris. Like it should be Chuck Norris, like a Chuck Norris type looking character.
90-year-old Mandalorian.
He don't look 90. Chuck Norris looks pretty good. I think it'd be like
I mean, he really probably is in his 80s, isn't he?
But like The Rock. Like when you saw Boba Fett, that kind of made a little sense. Like the guy looked a little bit like a wrestler type, rugged dude.
Well, that was the guy who played his dad and the actual prequels.
I'm
They
just
used the same
saying,
actor.
but
Yeah.
that's the guy, right? That looks like the guy who looks like a tough guy.
Well, I mean, he was
You take
the
off your
model. He was
helmet
the
and he's
model
like,
for all the stormtroopers. He should look like a
well, when you
badass.
take off your helmet and you look like Antonio Banderas, it's like, nah, you just don't look like a Mandalorian to me. You don't look like a dude who
Well,
goes,
remember, in his defense, he was adopted. Remember? So are you being
in
a?
his
Are you
defense,
being?
in his
Are you
defense,
being a?
he didn't
So you're
choose to
not
be a
saying
Mandalorian.
he didn't choose so you what are you? Are you discriminating against him because he's
No, I'm
the
just
what
not. He
that
doesn't fit
that
the
one
character.
wealthy guy who loved Nick Cage in his one movie? Do you think he's like the Wonder Woman villain in Wonder Woman 84 since they're all
Oh,
the same guy?
he is the one. Oh, see, now you ruin it even more. I didn't realize.
I mean, since it was bothered you that
I kind of overlooked the
uh
fact that he was Nicolas Cage bad guy. I forgot about that. But
Giancarlo Esposito. See, I think those are worse roles than Giancarlo Esposito's roles that you're holding against him.
he just now you ruined it. Now you brought up Wonder Woman. I just realized that he wasn't
That
Wonder
was
Woman.
an awful.
And that was a
I mean,
terrible bad guy. Don't you
yeah,
agree?
that was
A
not a
terrible
good
bad.
at. I know of Maxwell. I read Maxwell Lord since when I was in. That was he debuted in one of my favorite comics, and yeah, that was not really a good version of him they used there. That was pretty bad.
It just didn't look. It's kind of like Gene Hackman was the dude in Superman, right? Just not didn't really fit into the.
Yeah, it's just more right now. Gene is more like. I mean, if you think about it, his stuff in Superman 2 was pretty funny. When he takes the coffee from Jimmy Olsen, he's like, "Oh, that was for the chief. Chief's got it."
Well, I think John Claude Van Damme would have been good in this movie too. He would have been good,
As the
right?
Mandalorian,
Yeah, why not?
what the fuck are you casting like 50 to 60 to
He
70-year-old
just
guys?
he, he shows up and just does the splits like in the middle of the
Maybe
movie.
they could be Mandalorians, but they shouldn't be the Mandalorian.
No, I think that they should have picked a dude. I'm going to show you a guy who should have been a
Steven
man.
Seagal, he doesn't even use
Even
his feet anymore.
they
Just
should have
uses
used
his fists.
This is who you think the Mandalorian should look like. I'm going to share with you, and this is what you think.
Doesn't even take off his helmet. What the hell does it even matter at
Well,
this
he
point?
did though. This is what he should look like.
He did.
Kurt Russell as the Mandalorian would have been badass. That looks like a Mandalorian, does it not?
That would have looked more like the character that we see whipping some ass and under,
Looking tough.
with the helmet on.
Yeah.
Well, now show a picture of Pedro Pascal when he takes off his helmet to look on Grogu for the first time. He looks all like mustache and like he's all
What's his
crying,
name?
like sad.
Pedro what? Pedro. Oh, here he is. Right
Pascal.
here. Okay, I'll find him. Let me look him up.
Search Pascal removes helmet for Grogu. That was the end of season 2.
And that's but
He
that,
does.
that was,
He does. He does look
did you think that's what he should look
very
like though?
sappy. That's what the actor looks like. I mean, what the hell's? I didn't remember. I didn't watch really much of one. I mostly watched into season 2.
Would you have thought that's what he looked like though? I mean, come on. Do you think that that's what he should?
I would think what you just showed with Kurt Russell is with Snake or whatever from.
Yeah.
I mean, that probably works better.
This guy looks like we are going later to go woo women and then little sword fights.
Zorro with armor.
That's what it looks like, right? It looks like Zorro.
Yeah, I do agree with you. Yeah.
So now that I see it, I'm like, you could have just.
I mean, even what Charles Bronson would have been a tougher looking Mandalorian, right?
I'm just
Death Wish.
It's bad enough that when he took off his helmet, it ruined it for me, and then I got stuck with it. And it was all because of Baby Yoda. I don't think there was any other reason not to stay in the movie.
If you really want it ruined, watch his episode of Hot Ones where he's eating hot wings with that bald guy, whatever the hell his name is, on YouTube. And then he really looks like he doesn't belong in the Mandalorian. He's got some like brown mesh shirt on. He's got his mustache and he's eating hot wings. And then just pretend, hey, this is the guy who's kicking ass in the Mandalorian.
Let me see. I might be able to pull it up.
Well, you might be able to pull up the thumbnail if you can't play that without us getting copyright struck.
Well, let's just see. We'll just see if it's a quick one. We'll just see exactly. Copyright struck. Is that what you just called it?
Yes.
Let me see. I'm still
Hot Wings attacks our channel.
No, that guy seems pretty cool. He looks like he'd be cool with us showing his stuff. Let's just see. I don't have the video on there. I mean, I don't have the audio.
You have the picture of him.
I'm sharing our own screen.
I don't know. Maybe it's a sweater or whatnot.
Oh, here he is.
I don't think that's it.
Oh boy, there he is in Mandalorian. Telling you, it's not who I see in Mandalorian.
Oh, you know what it was? No, that isn't. That was weird too. But that was when he was eating snacks. It was Snack Wars with
Sean Evans. But
Sean Evans. Yeah,
he's wearing an all red outfit. I don't know what.
Yeah, so there's a Snack Wars episode. That's what I was thinking.
That's not the Mandalorian. That's not the Mandalorian. And then that's not the Mandalorian. Now you got to dress like.
What does he look like? He looks like Robert Vaughn from Superman 3.
Definitely not the Mandalorian.
I asked you to kill Superman. You couldn't even do that one. Simple thing.
So there you go. I can't. So, all right, we'll wrap this up. Mandalorian is definitely a hot show on Disney Plus. I watch it anyways, even though I'm not a big fan of the Mandalorian character himself. And then when you hear his voice, you expect to see some kind of like Clint Eastwood character. You don't see that. You see Zorro. That's if they're looking for a show, to fill another one, Antonio Banderas, number 2, this is the guy. He could be Zorro. And he was actually pretty good in that movie with Nick Cage. That was a good movie.
I've never seen that. We'll see if it pops up.
It was a good movie. It was interesting, funny. I like Nicholas.
Was it funny?
Nicolas Cage, anyways. I like him. He's a funny guy.
He's playing himself in that film, right? Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, the guy pays for him to come to his house and be like a celebrity on call, basically, and it's pretty funny. But Nicolas Cage acts weird in it too. But it's a good show. So
when is he not weird? Nicolas Cage. He just looks weird. Even when he was Ghost Rider, he was like, which he was basically playing a straight version to his flaming self.
The only movie he was not weird in was that one where he was going to Vegas and he lost his girlfriend to the dude for gambling. Did you ever see that one? Honeymoon in
Arizona. Oh, no. Honeymoon in Vegas. Yeah.
Raised in Arizona is a good one, but he's weird in that one too. So
yeah, that's why I remember him as weird. It's been a while since I've seen that though.
All right, we'll wrap this up. Mandalorian. I'm going to give it a thumb sideways because it's that good. But
thumbs up for the ending. That was a lot of animation come to life there with the battles in the sky for that battle scene alone. I thought that was pretty badass. And
all you got to know is if you're disappointed
on a series,
Grogu could have done a lot more earlier in the Mandalorian shows, but he said to hold it all back to the end.
He was saving his strength. He was saving it for when it was really needed against Moff Gideon.
Dude, someone died. He could have saved that.
He didn't know that. He didn't know that Paz Vizsla was going to stay behind. Only Bo-Katan knew that. She's the one that let him basically commit harikari or
he got stabbed right in the neck.
I know, but he was a suicide mission. He knew he was going to die. He just went out there to take as many as he could with him at the end.
No, he killed nobody. He just killed a bunch of.
Well, he didn't kill any Praetorian guards, that's for sure. No. But he did. Yeah, he wiped out all the white stormtroopers with the jetpacks.
He couldn't beat the 3 guard guys, the little ninja trio, but Grogu just could run away from him and laugh and giggle. Okay, I don't think it's funny, Grogu. People died.
I don't think that Paz Vizsla, last time I checked, like his whatever great grandfather was a Jedi. So I mean, apparently he had no shot against trained killers against Jedis. That's what they normally are.
You don't know everything because that's what happened. He was a trained Jedi. He just didn't know it yet, like Grogu. And if he would have had
powers,
he would have had a few more days to figure it out. Maybe he'd still be alive. And I'm all
maybe
for it.
Jimmy Kimmel's nephew will be a Jedi. We don't know that yet.
Maybe bring him back to life. Maybe they never showed him bury him, so maybe they'll bring him back to life. All right, I think I'm going to head into light speed here as we exit out of our. Oh, there I go. As we exit out of Me Podcast, you listen. Thanks for listening. Make sure you subscribe. This video, I'll put a little subscribe button. Make sure you click it,
please.
And that way you guys can check out and get all of our new shows. And then sooner or later, we'll be on what's it called?
Patreon.
And maybe you'll start helping us so we can get better backdrops for MC instead of a t-shirt.
That's
all right.
There you go.
Also, check out social medias, Me Podcast, You Listen, as well as all the areas you get your podcast pretty much on Spotify or iTunes. Anything else there, MC?
You said it all, my friend.
All right. As we check in later, we'll be talking about Cocaine Bear. That's as we exit out of this one. Me podcast, you listen.
The bear just attacks us off the screen. You say his name.
I got to get a backdrop.